My friends, this is Tony in the studio, and I'm showing you some B-roll footage here from a shoot that I did for the Work In Burke series of videos I'm doing. And this is at Catawba Brewing. You watch this thing putting labels on beer cans. This is Catawba Brewing Company in Morganton, North Carolina. I'm just going to do the commentary, tell you a little bit about what I perceive that I'm seeing here. These are cans, as you see here. First of all, they have a big cannery there. They brew all this beer. It's becoming popular world round. I have no idea what's going on here, what they're putting in these cans. But they're doing something to each of these cans. Why am I sharing this? Because I know that only a small portion of this B-roll video I shot for the main video will be used. They'll end up being about a 3 or 4 minute video done of this, and I've got 13 minutes really cool B-roll. This is Farmer's Ted Cream Ale, it says there. But I wanted to show how great the Sony A6500 does at stuff like this. And I just thought it was interesting video. I am not a beer drinker. I don't drink any alcohol at all. So I'm a teetotaler. That's not like some necessarily religious thing there. It's my kind of commitment. We had some folks that had alcohol problems in my family. I was just always afraid I would have a propensity toward becoming an alcoholic. But I find it interesting to see this at their operation. So this is in downtown Morganton, just really on, I guess, Sterling Street. I've got some aerial footage. This guy here, I'm watching what he's doing. I had no idea what he's doing. I asked him here in a minute. So at points where he starts to explain stuff, I'll just hush and let you hear what he says. So here we go. This is one of those moments here I'm getting ready to do. So it turns out really what these are, those are the aluminum tops that go on, and he explains how it works. Here we go, I think. He'll explain that.
Explain to me what you just did.
Right there we're just swapping the stack of lids out. When they start to get low, this sensor right here will signal a light up there. And we'll just swap
So those are actually the lids that are being pressed on through that thing there, right?
It's cool. It kind of just folds the edges down pretty much, and it's a two-step. It'll fold it a little bit, and then it'll really seam it.
Let me see a little closer in here. That'd be kind of cool.
So this, folks, is this brewery here has really grown by leaps and bounds. You can see what it's doing. It's crimping those tops on, spinning that thing around and kind of crimping those little tops on. Crazy. I just thought it was interesting to see, again, the clarity of the camera and also kind of the cool visuals of going through the process here. And you see all those big, huge stainless steel vats. They go all around the corner there too, brewing tanks. And listen, I wish I could have pulled somebody aside and had them take me on a tour, explain exactly what we're seeing. I will say this place has grown by leaps and bounds. It's a very, very successful brewery. And again, there are various different kinds of beer go out all over the nation now. And they're very popular. I think the Farmer Ted's, one called White Zombie, we'll see here in a minute, is very popular. And I think they have one called Mother Trucker. Here's White Zombie. And so, it's crazy. I can't think they're saying they put out 15,000 like kegs of it now, and I don't know how much they can of it. But it's done all in Morganton. There are 2 major breweries in Morganton now. This is sort of the bigger one at this point, and there's another one called Fonta Flora. And I actually went and shot some video of them. They've built a huge barn and doing the same sort of operation. I don't think they're as big as Catawba. This guy's just switching out a gasket, cleaning it, and putting a gasket on there. So this is, again, going to be B-roll for a Work In Burke video where people just talk about getting jobs in the breweries and what it takes to learn and to advance. And so this place employs a lot of folks now, and it has been growing by leaps and bounds. And there will eventually be a video interview with the head brewmaster. We'll see him here in a minute. I did my own little sort of super quick interview with him before the official interview. I just wanted to get him in his environment, so you'll see him here in a little bit. His name is James Bradley, I believe. But the owners, the last name is Pyatt, P-Y-A-T-T, and it's a man and his wife and his brother, I think, that owns it. There's Mother Trucker beer. There's, the hot mess monster. They got some cool little designs. They have their own little marketing team that does their logos and can designs and all. But this is designed to be footage that will go over the top of the interview. So as they're talking about whatever they're talking about in the interview, this will be the B-roll footage that goes over the top and adds kind of color and flavor to the video. So a whole lot of what we're just seeing here are just the people at work. And they go, I think they have actually shifts that they do this. They've added a second big, huge, almost like a silo, where I guess they season the hops or something just recently. I guess I was impressed with just how highly technical everything looks in there. And like that thing there with the pink on it, we'll see that in a little bit. They keep some sort of acid or something in there that's used in the process, not in the liquid itself, but in clean gear, I guess. This was just, they had some of the ales and stuff sitting up on a table where they'd done a photo shoot. So this is James. This is their main brewmaster. This is the guy that's over the whole operation. And I think he's only been at it like 5 or 6 years, and he's learned a whole lot about the science of brewing beer. And he told me that it takes a lot of knowledge of chemistry and some physics in a way, and just a lot of trial and error stuff. He has to do a lot of analysis. So part of what he's doing there, I guess, I think what he's doing is he's testing alcohol content. There he goes up on the catwalk. We'll go up there in a little bit and look down into the tanks. He's pouring hops. He's weighing some hops there to pour into a brewery. You know, I'm saying all this wrong, and I realize that. This is cool. He shows me inside of one where it's stirring. I'll hush for a second, let you hear what I say.
Check it out. Yeah, I gotta stand back. Yeah, that's still awesome though.
Yeah.
Excellent. God.
Listen, see it pouring out.
Holy crap. You don't see that every day. That's crazy. Excellent. Got it.
Some of these shots here, I just want to show him interacting with various other guys, you know, so that he talks about the camaraderie of working with his friends and everything, how they learn together, and his supervision skills and all. There's just so much detail in it, and I mean, I had no clue. I had no clue it took all this to reproduce the beers over and over again, the different varieties. And I can't even remember. It seemed like he said maybe they do 18 different kinds of beer. Honestly, it was so loud in there. I really couldn't hear a whole lot of what he was saying. Here he is. He's going to get some of that acid out, so he has to wear protective gear for that. And like I say, I think this acid is used to clean some sorts of devices and all they use. Again, I wish I had more of an opportunity to truly interview him. The lady I'm working with, Sarah Chester, she had very specific questions. I'd love to go back and ask my specific questions at some point and just learn a little bit more about the ins and outs of what it's like to work there. And not that I would want to work there, but I find it fascinating to go into these workplaces. It's been kind of a cool experience for me. I've gone to a lot of factories and stuff in Burke County, which is doing really well now. Burke County's doing well economically, and a lot of businesses are really thriving there now. So yeah, he's doing something there that cleans that big vat out, and I don't remember what it does. Forgive me, folks. Again, this is really...
My name's James Bradley. I've been here about 5.5 years. I started doing the sales and delivery, and once we switched over to distribution, using distribution companies, that's when I started getting into the brew house and doing some of the cellaring, cleaning kegs, cleaning tanks, and then I gradually went up to the brewer or ship brewer, and right now I'm the lead brewer here at Catawba.
So you were telling me, how did you learn to do this?
In-house from one of our owners, Scott Hyatt, and our director of brewing operations, Kevin Sandy, and then also just learning by yourself on the books, on the internet. There's millions of ways to learn different.
And so now you're the lead brewer. crazy. And how many different varieties do y'all brew here?
We do about every kind you can think of. We have, for our flagships, we have, essentially we do ales and lagers, and then also there's types of saisons we use, which is all different types of yeast that goes into the beer that makes a different style. But within those styles, there's hundreds of other different styles you can use. Just the different ingredients you add.
Is it fun to do this?
It is fun. It's a great job to learn something new about every day. I've enjoyed it these last few years, and I recommend it if you have an interest in something.
So here he took me back into their lab, and here again, folks, I think what he's going to do is get a yeast count or something. Is what he's doing. So he's putting bits of the beer into these little vials, and he puts some distilled water in there, just kind of dilutes it in certain ways, and he adds various other chemicals, and then he can get that microscope there, and he can look in. He can actually count yeast, or I don't know if it's yeast or what it is exactly. Like I say, it'd be great to go back and interview him more about the process at some point. Again, just having fun sharing these visuals with you. And you know, hey, if y'all work in a brewery, or if you do your own and understand what he's doing, chime in the comments. Tell me what he's doing. Like say, hey Tony, at 11 minutes and 33 seconds, he's doing this. That would be a good little education for me and for the other viewers. And I'm sorry that bit of that interview there you just watched was out of focus. Again, I wasn't really paying real close attention to my focus at that point. You'll see there's a little bit of a cycle there with the fluorescent lights, so you can see the little different shading particularly against the wall there. I was shooting 24 frames per second. Maybe if I'd gone a little bit more like 30 frames per second or 60 or something in there. Of course, I was shooting in 4K. 30 is the highest I could go with the 6500, but it might have gotten rid of that sort of cycled thing there, cycled look on the wall where it causes this strange banding. The A6500 is such a joy to work with, though. It shoots such great video, and typically all these compositions, all these 4K will go into 1080p video. I'll use the extra pixels that I have to resize and reshape and reframe video. So I'll probably share on the channel when I finish this video. When it's in its final 3 to 4 minute form, I'll share the video. I've also got an interview, a full interview with James about how he got into this and what kind of training he had to have. He actually has a bachelor's degree from UNC Wilmington. But he, like I say, he says that there's chemistry involved, a lot of mathematics, a lot of just science involved in doing this sort of work, which you don't think about that when you're just, you know, someone that just, I don't know, just a casual beer drinker. I guess you don't think about all the stuff that goes into it. So I was fascinated, and I've been going into dozens of places here lately around Burke County just to share information about industry and all. Hope you've enjoyed this, folks. Peace to all who watch. Subscribe to the channel if you like. I'll be bringing more of these. Thanks.